forcing those inside to leave. He said 2 other medical facilities in northern Gaza, Al-Auda and Kamal Adwan hospitals, were also subject to frequent assaults by Israeli occupation troops operating in the area. Meanwhile, Israeli bombardment continued elsewhere in the enclave, and medics said at least 9 Palestinians, including a member of the Civil Emergency Service, were killed in 4 separate military strikes across the enclave on Tuesday. The Israeli aggression on Gaza has killed more than 45,200 Palestinians since October 7, 2023. Most of the population of 2.3 million has been displaced and much of Gaza is in ruins. Also in the West Bank, Israeli occupation forces killed a Palestinian man in a dawn raid on Tuesday on a refugee camp near the city of Tulkarm in the Israeli-occupied West Bank.
And we are joined over the phone by Mr. Ayoub, Mahmoud Ayoub, former Minister Commercial. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you and to the viewers.
So, sir, in a shocking report, the UN Palestinian Refugee Agency UNRWA said the Israeli occupation authorities kill a Palestinian child every hour in Gaza. How would you comment on this report?
Well, when we see these practices by the Israeli occupation forces in Gaza, this means that they are deliberately exercising genocide against the Palestinians.
Yes.
The Jews have seen a lot in Nazi Germany, and now they are repeating the same genocide against Palestinians, although Palestinians have not harmed the Jews of Israel in any way. What we are seeing is genocide, and when this happens in the 21st century, all the world should stand against this kind of aggression against Palestinians in their own land. All the world should do its best to stop this aggression and pressure Israel to stop this escalation of violence against the Palestinians, and the Israelis have no excuse to complain after that if the Palestinians used violence against Israeli citizens or civilians.
And how do you see the failure by the international community to put an end to the Israeli aggression on Gaza?
When we receive the news from United Nations Relief and Welfare Agency UNRWA, this means that these are genuine and without any exaggeration. This means that the world as a whole should stand firmly against this escalation of violence against civilians in their own land, and even when we see that they are targeting children. They are targeting children, and let us be clear for the Israelis. Even if there is one Palestinian alive, he will fight for his homeland. They should stop aggression now, and the world has a responsibility to bolster Egyptian efforts in this respect, and also pressure Israel to stop this escalation and this violence and this genocide against humanity, not only against Palestinians, but against all the world.
So, Ambassador Ayoub, also a fresh bid by mediators, Egypt, Qatar and the United States to end the fighting and release Israeli and foreign hostages has gained momentum this month, but though no breakthrough has yet been reported, why do you think is the deal not being sealed so far?
This deal is very important to release the hostages, but the Palestinians are not. They will not be fooled by the Israelis, and they know for sure that if they release the hostages today, they will receive more violence and extermination tomorrow. So Palestinians have a stake, and all the world should stand firm beside the Palestinians in their own land, and also should firm against Israeli aggression. And that is very important. We need to stop violence by both sides and to come to consensus or settlement or peaceful settlement, so the civilians can live in peace, whether Palestinians in Israel or Palestine or Palestinians in Gaza. That is very important and crucial, not only for Israel and the Palestinians, but also for the peace and stability in the Middle East.
And how optimistic are you about reaching a ceasefire soon in Gaza?
although I like to be optimistic, but in this way, but what we are seeing, it is not what I like or what I don't like, but rather what the Israeli leadership, Israeli in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, what they are doing is against all norms of humanity, and I am not optimistic as far as this government in Israel does not stop aggression and does not stop violence, and it will reap the results very soon in the shape of casualties between the Israelis themselves in occupied Palestine, not only in Gaza.
So, sir, the Israelis are also escalating their actions in the West Bank. How is this contributing to the failure to reach a calm down?
We need to reach a settlement. But what the Israeli forces are doing on the ground means that they are not for settlement, but they are for extermination. When they are looking for extermination, they will face extermination themselves, and the violence will continue in occupied Palestine. We need to stop aggression now so that we can sit together and find a consensus. Egypt has done a lot in this respect and is cooperating with Qatar and the United States in this respect. And unless the Israeli government is convinced with the positive result this will bring, it will continue in aggression, and the violence will increase, and the casualties will be increasing on both sides of war. On both sides of war.
Yes, I'd like to thank you, Ambassador Ayoub, Mahmoud Ayoub, former Minister Commercial and member of the Egyptian Council for Economic Affairs. Thank you, sir, for being with us. And back to our reports. And the Turkish Interior Minister said Tuesday that more than 25,000 Syrians have returned home from Turkey since Bashar al-Assad was overthrown by Syrian factions. Details in the coming report.
More than 25,000 Syrians have returned home from Turkey since Bashar al-Assad was overthrown by the HTS group, according to Turkey's Interior Minister. Turkey is home to nearly 3 million refugees who fled the civil war that broke out in 2011 and whose presence has been an issue for President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's government. Ankara, in close touch with Syria's new leaders and now focusing on the voluntary return of Syrian refugees, hoping the shift in power in Damascus will allow many of them to return home. A migration office is planned to be established in the Turkish embassy and consulates in Damascus and Aleppo so that the records of returning Syrians could be kept. Turkey reopened its embassy in Damascus nearly a week after Assad was toppled by forces backed by Ankara, and 12 years after the diplomatic outpost was shuttered early in Syria's civil war. Officials said one person from each family will be given the right to enter and exit 3 times from January 1 to July 2025 under regulations to be drafted upon Erdogan's instructions. They added that Syrians returning to their country will be able to take their belongings and cars with them.
And South Korea's main opposition party vowed on Tuesday to impeach acting President Han Duck-soo, but reversed an earlier plan and decided to wait until later in the week at the risk of further political uncertainty heightened. Earlier, party said that it would introduce a bill to impeach Han on Tuesday. Details follow.
South Korea's main opposition party vowed on Tuesday to impeach acting President Han Duck-soo, but reversed an earlier plan and decided to wait until later in the week, party officials said, as the risk of further political uncertainty heightened. The move comes as the country is reeling from impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol's short-lived bid to impose martial law on December 3 that he partly blamed on the opposition's propensity to impeach government officials. Opposition Democratic Party DP floor leader Park Chan-dae